good evening, and welcome to episode 2 of our series. We have been doing the Excelling Beyond Your Classroom or Beyond the Classroom series for children. All right, we are looking, as parents, we're looking at how we can raise children who can excel beyond the classroom, how we can raise children who can understand that success is beyond what happens in the classroom. All right, if we're raising children into this world in the 21st century, then it should be a goal to raise them to understand that success is beyond what happens in the classroom. My name is Maribeth Chima, and I am the founder of the Parenting Through Mentorship Academy and PTM Resources. And yes, the proud matron of the Mastermind Circle, a peer mentorship and accountability group that we run for young children and for young children, actually. Okay, so I had a vision. I had a back to school vision workshop for children aged 5 to 13 today. It's actually a 2 day session, but we had the first part of that class today. And it was such an amazing, it was, the class was a beautiful one, but I was thinking while I was creating the tools for that session. While I was creating the tools for that session, it actually struck me that these tools were not necessarily tools that will help the children come tops in their class, right, at the end of the school year. The tools were beyond the classroom. They were beyond, the grades that you end up with at the end of the school year, right? The tools are more like resources that will help children become more self-aware, right? Resources that will help children see themselves grow and watch that growth happen, right? We want to raise children who are not just learning for the moment. We want to raise children who are not just learning for the grades. We want to raise children who are not just concerned about being ahead of their classmates. We want to raise children who think beyond who is my rival or who is the one that has been ahead of me for the longest. I need to beat them. No, we don't want to raise children who are always thinking about beating the next person. We want to raise children who are constantly thinking, how can I get better? How can I get better? So during the back to school vision workshop today, I said to the children, I want you, even at age 5, 6, 8, and 10, I want you to look at your growth tree, because we're creating the growth tree as one of our tools, right, for the children. Well, I want you to look at your growth tree. And so when I call you as your matron, for those of them in the mastermind circle, when I call you as matron to see what your growth tree looks like, a picture, just a picture that you take and send to me of your growth tree will leave you feeling proud of yourself, and will leave me feeling like, a proud matron and mentor of someone that is guiding you and supporting you to be the best version of yourself. So we want children to be able to access themselves, we want children to be able to evaluate their own growth. I want children to be able to look at, the tools that we create with them and see where they are going to, see where they are coming from, so that they don't need people making them feel small. They don't need other people's validation or other people's accolades or other people's not feedback. They don't need other people to tell them that they are on the right track or to make them see that they are making progress. On their own, they're able to assess themselves, and on their own, they're able to see their growth. Because we want to raise more and more children who do not second guess themselves. If we are truthful to ourselves, I don't know about you, this is my story. I am one person who second guessed herself for the longest time. you have this thing, you're great at it, and all of that. But somewhere, that voice tells you in your head that you are not all that, because you didn't learn to assess yourself. You didn't learn to recognize your own growth. You didn't learn to appreciate your own effort and the results or the outcomes of those efforts. So that's what we are talking about. That's what we are talking about when we say we want to raise children who can excel in the classroom and excel outside the classroom. We want to raise children who can recognize their own process, recognize their own journey, children who are that aware of themselves, where they are coming from, where they are at, and where they are going to. Many children do well in school, but this is only when it comes to exams, when it comes to statutory tests and all of that. We want to raise children who learn because they want to have wisdom, because they want to have enough knowledge that can transform them. We want to raise children who understand that the true reward of learning, the true reward of an education is transformation. Let our children recognize that when you learn, at the end of every learning, there should be a change that should happen in your life. And that change is the real product or is the real fruit of your learning. We want children to recognize that learning is about transformation and not just about passing exams and all of that. We want to raise children who will become lifelong learners, right? That is what it takes to raise children who can excel beyond the classroom. As I did in day one, I'm going to be sharing 5 things that we as parents who are guiding and leading our children, these 5 things are the things that we focus on, that we look at even when we work with children in the Mastermind Circle. The Mastermind Circle, by the way, is our peer mentorship and accountability group that we run for young children age 5 to 10. Okay, so let's share those 5 things with you. Number one, we need to help our children recognize that curiosity is a superpower, right? So in the Mastermind Circle, the moment the children come in, our orientation is on the 14th of September. The day they walk into the Mastermind Circle is the day that they will recognize, if they didn't know, that they've got superpowers within them. They will recognize that that superpower, or part of that superpower, is their ability to be curious and to remain curious. They have to learn to keep asking questions, because if you keep asking questions, then you are preparing yourself for answers. If you ask questions, then you are opening yourself for knowledge. If you ask questions, you are opening yourself for wisdom. But the day you stop asking questions is the day you stop being interested in growing. So we want them to recognize that curiosity is actually a superpower that every one of them should have. No wonder in the scriptures, when God asked Solomon, right? When Solomon was asked what it was that he wanted, what did he say? Solomon wanted to have wisdom. That wasn't something that he wanted to have so that he can be the best ruler, or so that he can be, the most revered, ruler of all times. It was because he had a quest for knowledge. He had a quest for wisdom. He wanted to know more. He wanted to have answers to, the pertinent questions. He wanted to have answers to the things, solutions, right? He wanted to have answers and solutions to the problem of his people and problem of the world. So Solomon wanted to learn more. He wanted to know more. So are we raising children who are hungry for knowledge? Are we raising children who want to learn more? Every time you read a biography or autobiography of a successful person, every time you read about people who have changed the world, people who are inventors, people who have done great things, great feats that have left a mark in the world, every time you read about them or you listen to them, you will always hear that they were hungry for knowledge. They were passionate about learning. They were lifelong learners. We still hear people like Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, even Barack Obama. These people would always tell you about how much they read. They will tell you about how much knowledge they have from reading, from their quest for knowledge. So it is very important as parents that we position our children to always ask the why question. Why this, why that? And yes, do not get tired of answering those questions when they ask, okay? So this is why in the mastermind circle, we teach our children to be curious explorers. We want them to explore. That's why we don't give them answers in the mastermind circle. We give them tasks that will help them ask questions and will help them find solutions to these questions. It is in asking and finding solutions that you begin to solve the problems, that are around you, starting from the problems in their homes. So we say to the children, you are the chief pilot of your life. So you need to be out there looking for the things in your life that you can, that you can use to solve the problems that you have first. And then, of course, the problem in your home and in your community. So yes, these are some of the things that we must do if we want to raise children who will excel, not just in their grades, not just in the report cards, not just in the classroom, but beyond the classroom. We need, number two, we need to raise children to understand that mistakes are a part of learning. We must raise our children. We need to stop saying this like, a broken record. We need to start living it. We need to start expressing it. We need to start modeling it. We need to start embracing and accepting, right, that our children can make mistakes and that those mistakes are a part of learning. And we need to let them know this, that their mistakes are a part of their learning. I said to the children today, right, during the vision workshop, I said to them, you will set those goals. And at some point after you have set your goals, you will fall somewhere along the path. You will get tired at some point. You will feel overwhelmed at other points. But what is important is that you are in a community where you see other people that, in spite of how tired they get after school, in spite of how busy they are, in spite of how, how unwilling they are sometimes, they are still pushing. And then while you are there, while you are down, the fact that these other people are pushing would actually be something for you to behold so that you can rise up again and continue to move. This is why we say to the children, there is nothing, there is no report that you write, there is no task that you send in, there is nothing that you say, there's no review that you do that is wrong. In the mastermind, we have a zero shaming policy. No, we don't shame any child because we want children to understand that perfection is not what we are looking for. We're interested in the journey that you are making and in the effort that you are putting in that journey every day. So when I don't see you for 1 day, 2 days, I'll probably give you a few days to take a breather, because I know you're probably overwhelmed or something. Who knows? You might even be sick. Before I reach out and say, oh, hi there, are you okay? Are you good? Right? Just to encourage you, motivate you to get up and move again. So children need to know that failure will come sometimes. Mistakes will happen sometimes. But what is important is they're able to get up and move again. In the scriptures, didn't Peter fail? All right, Peter failed. Did he not deny Jesus? He denied his master how many times? 3 whole times, not 1, not 2, but 3 whole times. All right. But what did he do? After that, he still picked up himself and still followed. Have you heard the story of Thomas Edison? Or haven't you heard the story of Thomas Edison? How many times was he said? Thousands of times, right, did he do his trials on the light bulb and it failed. But hey, what happened? He still went on to make something out of that. So dear parents, it is time to start making our children know that mistakes are okay. They will make them sometimes. We recognize what is important is that they're able to recognize that they have made mistakes and they're able to pick the lessons that they can pick from those lessons and move on. Tell them that their attitude should be that even if I fail, I get to find ways that I do not do that thing again, right? Even if you fail 10,000 times, then you will find 10,000 ways that you shouldn't do that thing again. So yes, there is always a lesson, even in the mistakes. At least you get to learn how not to do that thing the next time. Very important. okay, that we program and that we help our children begin to see this. This is usually a very short session. We just come here for a little chit chat. It is our how to help your child succeed beyond the classroom. Succeeding, I mean, success, excellence beyond the classroom, right, series. That's what we are talking, and we're talking about our children becoming lifelong learners. How children understand that learning happens everywhere. The moment our children understand that learning is not just what happens in the classroom, if you still have your children saying to you all the time, my teacher said no, my teacher said this is not how my teacher does it, then you need to help them erase that mindset that they can only learn from their teachers. Okay, it's an indication that your child is not learning a lot from you, and that your child thinks that learning is synonymous to his teacher. So, dear parents, it is time to put on your teacher cap, because as a parent, you are first a teacher. As a parent, you are your child's first teacher, and I dare say your child's most important teacher. So put on that cap. Let your child see you as someone that they can learn from. Let your child see you as a knowledgeable person. Let them see you as someone who can be a model to them. When they see you, then they won't, when they see you in that light, then they won't continue to say to you, our teacher said, our teacher said, our teacher said. All right? All right, so yes, every child should be helped. I mean, I say a child who helps their parents to cook learns a lot of skills while at it. Do you know why you're doing the simple task of cooking? Okay, why you're doing that task that comes to you as a parent or as a mom or as a dad as simple? Your child is learning so many skills right there. They are learning math skills, they are learning problem solving, they are learning how to make decisions, they are learning a lot of things. Jesus did this with his disciples. He used every teachable moment to teach something to the disciples. He used every story that he told. I mean, he told lots and lots of stories in parables. All of these was for him to teach them, and it wasn't a classroom situation. He used every situation around him, right? He used every situation around him to teach one thing or the other. Okay, the woman at the well, he used that as a lesson. I mean, he used every situation. So as parents, we must learn to recognize teachable opportunities, or teachable moments as we call them, and use those teachable moments to drive home certain lessons, to drive home our values, to drive home lessons or wisdom, right, to our children. So it's important. If you want to raise a child who excels in the classroom and beyond the classroom, then we must raise them to see that learning is not something that doesn't just happen in the classroom, that happens everywhere. I was at a camp the other day, and I was speaking to the peer mentors, and I said to them, or not the peer mentors, in fact, I was speaking to to a group of girls, and I said to them, right, if until you get to the point where you tell yourself that I can learn from anybody and everybody. If you don't get to that point, you will continue to think that you are better than a lot of people. You will continue to sabotage yourself, because you know how our young girls are these days. They can just size you by they can profile you. You know how they can be children. They just look at you and they profile you. The moment they profile you and they think that you are beneath them by whatever standard, that is it. They can't learn from you again. A lot of our teachers in school, you know how teachers are at the mercy of children these days. How our children come, they profile these teachers, they look at the teachers and they feel like, something, this one is beneath in one way or the other. And that is part of why they can't learn as they should, because they are there busy profiling and weighing whether this person is enough or this person has enough wisdom to teach me anything. So these are the issues. All right. So I told them, you must bring yourself to the point where you see everyone as someone you can learn from, no matter how young, no matter whatever status the person has. Think about it this way. Even from a child, at least you get to learn how to see things, in the simplest way. just by learning or seeing how a child approaches life with simplicity. So there is always, always, always something to learn. Even from the man that is on the street that is a lunatic or whatever, there's something to learn. Even if what you are learning is how not to do a particular thing, there's always something to learn from everybody. All right. Now, number 4. Remember, I'm giving you 5. Number 4 is, please let your children know this year. Let your children know as they go back to school that reading is a gateway to lifelong learning. Why is your child not reading yet? We just finished our 30 days book challenge from the 1st to the 30th of August, where we have helped parents to work with their children to cultivate a love for reading. We did that in fun ways. We did that in ways that can motivate the children and push the children, right? Help the children get excited about learning, about reading, so that the more they read, the more they open themselves to reading more. The more they read, the more they open themselves to being lifelong learners. So it begins with a child reading a storybook, reading a fiction book, and then the more they read this fiction book, the more they become focused, the more they can focus their attention on that activity, reading. And from those storybooks, the next thing, they will begin to pick other genre of books or pick other kinds of materials, and they begin to read. So reading storybooks is a good place to start from, okay? And then from there, it's the same reading. You can move that reading to reading your books, reading your school books and reading other materials. Yes, so let your children know that reading is a gateway to lifelong learning. They need to cultivate that habit today. And this is why we create books. We create resources for young children. I was telling the children in the class today that there are 2 books that they must read. In fact, this one right here, The Enemy Who Stole My Time, so these are some of my newest or my latest books, right? So because we're setting goals, right? Because we're setting goals for the year, I told them there are some enemies that will show up to make sure that you don't achieve those goals, to make sure that those goals do not go beyond wishes, to make sure that they do not go beyond intentions, because it is one thing to wish. It is one thing to be motivated. I want to do well. I want to come tops. I want all A's. I want this. I want that. It's one thing to wishy. Okay? It's another for you to actually, to actualize this. So I said to them, wishes without work, wishes without action, wishes without doings is equal to nothing. All right. And I told them, you see this book is going to introduce to you 10 powerful enemies that try to stop you from becoming everything that God has created you to be, that try to stop you every year from achieving those goals that you have. So with this book in your hand, you can recognize the enemy that steal your time, because anything that has stolen your time is actually stealing your destiny. Anything that is stealing your time is stealing your dreams. Anything that is stealing your time is stealing your life, because time is everything. All right. So the moment they can recognize the enemy that is stealing their time, the more they are equipped to fight that enemy. So this book, I told them, should be your handbook, should be in your bag all the time. So yes, you can get our books, this one, and then next book I told them is Who Am I Becoming? If you don't know who you are becoming, if you don't know who you are, then it's easy for anyone to tell you who you are not. Okay, that is why I said self-awareness is a big deal, right? Very, very big deal. We have many other books that your children can. I mean, this one is Unlocking Excellence, right? A Student's Guide to Success Beyond the Classroom. Just about what we are talking. Amazing books for your 7-year plus. So if you have children 7 years and above, they can read this on their own, or you can share with them as buddy reading between you. I mean, as a parent, you can share the books together. You can read one chapter every evening, and then you review, share perspective, and talk about them together. And yes, if your children are younger, then we have the Bedtime Story series, packed with values and packed with lessons, right? This one, beautiful, beautiful book, Adama's Trip to Grandma's. These are typical stories, right? Typical stories packed with lessons, African stories. I mean, just look at it. The dimness of it, all of this, that sunset look, it's all deliberate to give you that whole, I mean, grandma story or tales by moonlight, your African story outlook. As amazing as these covers are the stories in the book. Okay, of course, we have our bestseller, my very first book, Bedtime Stories for Champions. What am I saying? I'm saying, let your child start this school year. Let your child start this new milestone. Okay, let them start this new milestone, knowing that books are an essential part of their journey, knowing that books are an essential part of their becoming, and it is, or they are, gateway to lifelong learning. Very important. We have Mira the Courageous Bird. That is another storybook. Amazing, beautiful. Then we have Playtime Stories for Champions. If you have children 1 to 10, they should have this book packed with lots and lots of beautiful activities that you can do together with your children to have maximum fun at home. Okay, this one is our son's first book. Actually, we just found that we have a few copies for those who want to have it. It's Baby Steps, right? A diary of a child on a mission. It's all about you as a child, your purpose. And yes, we have Far Away from Home, another storybook for your children, 0 to 6 year olds. Yes. And yes, even your 10, 12-year-olds can read this because it's packed with knowledge and it's just a beautiful, fun story that you can read together. I have 12 books all together and they're all available on Amazon. You can get them on our seller page. And of course, you can get hard copies from our distributors all around. We have distributors in Lagos, in we have distributors in Lagos, Port Harcourt, Benin, spread all around the country. So all you need to do is reach out and we will tell you the distributor that's closest to you. This story, beautiful book, by the way, Destined for Greatness. It's inspiring stories about great leaders who have walked through the land of Africa and have made remarkable impact in their generation, impact that has spawned beyond their generation. Beautiful books. So yes, your children should read books. And then of course we have Young and Money Smart. Why would your child not learn how to have the right mindset about money? And last but not the least is Wisdom Stories for Champions. I love this book. It's all about wisdom, family values, and family coming first above all things. So yes, let your children know that books are a gateway to lifelong learning. And yes, we're not just telling you this, we are showing you that there are books that you can read. You know, the good thing about this book, they are not just fiction stories. These are books that will build your children's character, but they are told they will build their character, they will equip them, they will give them knowledge and wisdom, they will skill them up, yet they are wrapped in beautiful stories that are relatable. So they are storybooks packed with knowledge, wisdom, right, and values. So you have all in one, right? You have all in one: skills, knowledge, stories, beautiful stories anyway. Okay, so you can reach out to us if you want to get any of our books. We will just let you know how you can get it in the city close to you. If you're in Abuja, of course we are in Abuja. So yes, our books are available. You can get them on Amazon, as I said, and you can also buy them from our seller page. All right, the last one I'm going to be sharing with you today is that the last thing I'm going to be sharing with you today is that our children need to know that it is not wrong to ask for help. It is not wrong to ask for help. In fact, it is actually a superpower to know when you need help and to seek help at those times or at the time where you need help. So let's teach our children how to put in the effort, how to put in their best, and how to recognize when they need to call for help or when they need to ask, to be supported, because the kind of support they have, behind them, the kind of people who are behind or around them to support them will determine how far they would go. That is where mentorship comes up. All right, as parents, we need to introduce our children to the space where they know that there are other people who are very important, right? There are other people who are important in, and that can be so important in their lives that they can listen to. We must teach our children what kind of voices to listen to. We must point our children to the voices that they should listen to. If you don't point them to the kind of voices they should listen to, then you leave them open to listen to any kind of voice. So that's where mentors come in. That's when trusted adults come in. So these trusted adults or mentors become the people that your children can listen to in addition to you. Your voice is not enough, dear parents. Your walls, the walls of your home or your perspective is not enough to raise a child in the 21st century. It's not enough to raise a global citizen. You need people who are co-parenting with you, who are on this journey. Apart from that, that way you also help your child to learn what voices to recognize or what kind of voices to listen to. If you don't do this, then you leave them open to listen. For all you know, your child will be listening to the voice of another teenager or another friend or another person who is as confused as they are, but just appears bolder than they are. That's what happens a lot of the times when they have their friends who influence them. Apart from that, it could be some celebrity somewhere that is just there living their life or living a certain kind of life on the screen. And your child takes that as the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Meanwhile, this person is just living one part of their life or one just living out a character on screen or living a character on social media, and it's probably has a different life altogether. But hey, what your child is seeing is that life that the person portrays on social media, and that lies or whatever it is becomes your child's reality, because you have not taught them or you have not guided them to know what kind of voices to listen to, what the voices they should listen to should sound like, or what the people that become the trusted adults or mentors in their life should be like, or what they should look out for. All right. So, yes, parents. I said I was going to be here for just 30 minutes, and you have it. All right. How we can help our children succeed beyond the classroom. Success beyond the classroom. So this is episode 2 of our Success Beyond the Classroom series. I'll see you at 8:30 again tomorrow, where I will be sharing another nugget or another tips on how to raise our children or guide our children to succeed beyond the classroom. Thank you for joining me. If you like to if you like to read any of our books or get them for your children, they should have them in their library. By the way, please reach out to us and we will tell you where to get them close to you if you are in Nigeria. We have distributors in the UK, in the US, and in Canada. So yes, you can also get our books. Oh, and in Ghana also. So you can also get our books from these distributors. And yes, if you want a system that can hold your child's hands, that can work with you, collaborate with you to raise children who are lifelong learners, to raise children who are beginning to take baby steps towards directing themselves, becoming self-leaders. All right. If you want a community that can work with you to raise a wholesome child, then the Mastermind Circle is your place, is your go-to place. Our Mastermind Circle, our foundation ground, that's what we call it. Okay. A foundation ground is for children between 5 and 10, where we are focused on helping or guiding and offering accountability and support to this group of children to help them take the front stage in their lives so that they begin to see the role that they play in their own life and begin to take on those roles right away, recognizing their superpowers, learning how to self-lead, learning how to lead other people, and of course, becoming skilled and building the habits that they need to navigate the world effectively. Thank you for joining me again. And yes, you will get all you need, all the information that you need to join the Mastermind Circle. Our next cohort begins on the 14th. Our orientation is on the 14th of September. So yes, you still have about 8 days to enroll your child to join us in the Mastermind Circle. All the information you need will be in the comment section, and you can use that to reach out to us or to, register your child to be a part of the circle. And yes, if you need to get our books, they are right here for you. And yes, if you also need your child to join the goal setting class, which is free for mastermind partners, by the way, okay, but if you are an outsider, you've not registered yet, and you want your child to be a part of it, we have day 2 tomorrow. You can get the replay of day 1 and you can join us in day 2 tomorrow. Amazing, amazing sessions we are having with these children. Thank you again. Have a splendid rest of the day. Bye. My name is Maribeth Shima, and yes, the proud matron of the Mastermind Circle. Thank you, and God bless you. Bye.